of NEP with reference to assessment and accreditation framework of NAC, supported by NAC in collaboration with Department of Commerce, Bangalore University, and publishing partner Informatics. It's our pleasure to have you back in Padma Shri Institute of Management and Sciences. We begin today's session with paper presentations. We start off with Dr. Netra. I request Dr. Netra to come on stage.
This one.
Good morning, one and all. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to present the topic impact of green campus initiatives with reference to NEP and NAC. So we know the slogan Dharmo Rakshati Rakshitaha, but now the present day situation or scenario has made us to put forward the environment Rakshati Rakshitaha. So we know that environment is very much important aspect in the present day scenario, and we are facing many of the environmental issues and challenges, which is a very important aspect to focus on. With this, I would like to navigate through my slides. So one of the first conditions of happiness is that link between man and nature shall not be broken. So given by Leo Tolstoy, it's very true that apart from technology and all the various advanced things in the world, finally it is the environment we have to concentrate on, because we do have only one earth where we are supposed to live on this earth, and it is very important to save it. So as per the UN Sustainable Development Goals, so they have concentrated even on the green concept. That is, we have to save the environment. Environment protection is also being given importance. And by 2030, all people would enjoy peace and prosperity, including the environment. So the protection of environment is an important goal according to UN's. So what is green campus? We all of us know a green campus is a place where eco-friendly practices and education combine to promote environment sustainability. So very well known concept. So how can we cultivate the green habits to save our planet? So we all of us know that these are the things which we have inculcated and which has to be inculcated, and also only few people know about the awareness of environmental protection. So it has to be still more spread out all over. So these are the few habits which help us to save our planet, like recycling, plant a tree, save water, save energy, choose self-production, choose the sustainable mobility. So be careful of the expense, because we know about the non-renewable resources. So what is the importance of it? And it is very, it takes long time for the production and use of second-hand objects. And also we have to recycle it. That is the main concept, recycle and reuse it. So as per the criteria, that is the NAC criterion 7. So with reference to NAC, here the importance of green campus initiatives has been mentioned in 7.1.2 metric, which is the quantitative metric. And also NAC gives a weightage of 20 marks here, and it is very important aspect as per the institutions. Any institution, it might be education or any other MNC firms. So everywhere the green concept has become a very significant aspect in the present scenario. And according to the AQAR criterion 7, so few of the green campus initiatives mentioned are restricted entry of automobiles, use of bicycles or battery powered vehicles, pedestrian friendly pathways, and the ban on use of plastic and landscaping. These are the few mentioned ones, but accordingly to the respective organizations, so many of the green campus initiatives may be followed. And not only with reference to NAC, even the implementation or the incorporation of the syllabus, especially highlighted on environment, or to know the environment, it has been incorporated in NEP. So many of the experts had spoken last day regarding NEP. Much more information we do have now. So this was also included so that it can become a habit of saving the environment. So some of the green initiatives followed in our campus, I'm just going to present it. So we do have landscaping in our campus. And first of all, I would like to mention the location of Padma Shri is only a contribution because we are far away from the city, and it's eco-friendly environment we do have here. And this is one of the important aspect as a green campus initiative. And this is we do have ours is a zero plastic free campus. And here there is no tobacco, as in any institution. Here also we follow the same. And so according to the NAC, so we do have all the the initiatives. So this is one of the electric powered vehicles used in the campus. So Swachh Campus Abhiyan we do follow. And beyond the campus activity is also been followed in the Padma Shri campus. And this is the environmental awareness program in the local community. So not only here in the campus, we also create awareness in the local community. So where the Padma Shri has extended its way to enhance the knowledge about the protection of the environment to all the local communities and to the local students. And vermicomposting practiced in the campus. And also while gifting, we do follow, so we have already noticed yesterday. So this is one of the practices where we gift the green plant. So also we plant in the campus, and this is the rainwater harvesting, one of the green initiatives. And what are the impact of green initiatives? So as I told you, the campus is of 35 acres and much flora we can see in the campus. So according to the blocks we did, this was the estimated plants number. And the oxygen production rate has been mentioned here. So in the campus, the oxygen consumption by all the stakeholders is about 2,520 kg of oxygen. But our plants which are present in the campus, it is contributing about 7,182.5 kg of oxygen, which is double the number. So we are very safe with that regard. So we do have the more of greenery here. And the single mobility, that is the usage of the campus transportation. So 91% of the stakeholders use this single mobility, so which is also contributing to the less carbon emission in the campus and maintaining the environment, eco-friendly environment. So with the conclusion, I just want to tell that Green Campus initiatives has improved the quality of life of stakeholders in the campus. Yes, of course, it contributes to the healthy environment. And not only that, it also gives the startup opportunities, like green products could be produced and sold in the campus, where we can take the different ideologies from the students and all the stakeholders. It also, the Green Campus initiatives also reduce the stress levels of stakeholders. So many of the things have been mentioned. Just I've taken the few examples here. So all of the things have been mentioned in the the article which have been submitted. So it also improves the health and work efficiency, and there is a scope for research in the green initiatives, because we are facing many environmental issues. One of the things is waste disposal, and also the energy saving equipment. So we are producing the energy, but storage is the main problem. So storage and the accessibility is very important. So there is scope for that. So where we can already been developed for the storage equipments, but still there is a scope. And importance is given to green initiatives in any organization, because it promotes health efficiency as well as contributes to the environment. So all the stakeholders can become more efficient and competitive and literally profitable. So thank you so much for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, Dr. Netra. We shall shortly continue with the technical session. Please bear with us. Guest.
One presentation is this.
A very good morning to all of you. Good morning, respected dignitaries and dear colleagues and the land friends. Students may be thinking why we have pulled out here forcefully. Right? It's a seminar organized for the teachers and why students' role, what is the role of a students in this conference. It's very important and vital for the institutional perspective. Why? Because our institution is going for the NAC accreditation. Hope all of you are aware of it, students. Are you? Yes. What is NAC accreditation and why we need that accreditation? All those things, I think the land professors or the guests who are going to speak may enlighten you. I just here to point out why you have been called here. Friends, in the NAC assessment, student feedback would be there. It plays a very significant role. What is student feedback and how it is important for the institution, and in turn, how the students' community will be benefited out of it, that you would understand. And that's the reason the next speaker who is going to address the audience will enlighten you. That is the reason the students have been called. Okay. So after that session, you may go and continue with your practical examination. So let's wait for 2 minutes, and the speaker is going to enlighten you about how to give the feedback and what is it, what its importance. Those things will be addressed by the guest. Oh, please come.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Immediately after presentation of green campus and green campus initiative.
Good morning. Welcome back to day 2 of the 2-day national conference on best practices in implementation of NEP with reference to assessment and accreditation framework of NAC. Welcome back to Padma Shri campus. Yesterday we had a very fruitful day with a series of technical sessions by renowned speakers. Today we should continue with the technical session. I call upon our guest, Dr. Syed Wajid, to come on to dais. A brief introduction of Sir. Dr. Syed Wajid is Associate Professor and former Head, Department of Microbiology and Director of IQAC at St. Joseph's University. Sir holds a BSc, MSc, and a PhD in microbial biochemistry. He has over 22 years of teaching experience and has guided 130 UG term paper students and 30 MSc microbiology students. He's been on the board of studies of Department of Microbiology of BMS College for Women and BOS member of the Department of Microbiology, Indian Academy Degree College, BOS member of the Department of Microbiology, Maharani Lakshmi Amani College, advisory committee member of the Internal Quality Assurance Cell of the Mudukar Kesari Jain College, and the external academic expert of IQAC at St. Joseph's Evening College, Board of Advisor at the Nilgiris College of Arts and Science, member of the Curriculum Development Cell of Sri Ramakrishna College of Arts and Science. He's been on the board of examinations of Manipal Institute, Manipal University, Mount Carmel College, Government Arts and Science College, Dayanand Sagar University, Jain University, and Garden City University. This is just a brief profile. We have a very renowned speaker today, and we look forward to a great session today. Please welcome.
So thank you very much, ma'am, for that kind introduction of yours. And let me also thank the principal, the director, IQAC, the faculty members, and also the management of Padma Shri College. So thank you. I think this is my second association with Padma Shri College. So one was online. So today, luckily, I made it offline. So here the topic that I've been asked to present before you is best practices in quality assurance and documentation. These are two important areas which is required for any of the higher educational institution to sustain. And at the same time, any higher educational institution, if they have to take part in varied ranking, because these days higher educational institutions cannot do what they have to do on their own. There are bodies, regulatory bodies, who would be assessing as to how good higher education institution is performing. Now, if you have to show that yes, you're performing, that means there is a lot of evidences that you need to provide towards the functioning of the institution. So that is where the documentation comes. Now, documentation is secondary. It's required for you to say that what you're doing, but what is very important is the quality assurance. So hence this topic, best practices, quality assurance and documentation is what I have been asked to. So let's proceed further. Okay. Now, all higher educational institutions, if we need to be relevant to the changing national and global context, you might have been witnessing the way the scenarios that we are seeing. Okay, so we just went through pandemic. We are trying to rejuvenate from the pandemic, and you know how badly we were hit with higher education institutions or even otherwise. Now, when those sort of situations come before you, how do we deal with them? Clear? So a lot of these issues are going to crop up. So what becomes priority for higher education institution is that we need to be aware of these emerging challenges. We need to also be aware of these pressing issues. Now, once we know that these are the challenges, these are the issues, higher education institutions should be proactive, and they need to reflect on the issues that we are facing and ensure that all the higher education institutions, their programs that we designed, the activities that we have carried forward, whatever, and the entire functions of the institutions, all of those you need to design or reprogram according to the issues that we are facing. Now, hence, it becomes important that, I belong to a particular higher education institution. How unique is the institution that I'm part of? That is something that we need to always keep questioning ourselves. Clear? Now, that is, we need to recognize that our institution is known for certain attributes, and institution is known because of its attribute. And that is what is going to give distinctiveness to a higher educational institution. Now, in order to further say that, we are distinct from the other higher education institution, what are those attributes? Those attributes should become, part and parcel of the functioning of the institution. So hence, let's try to be distinct from the other higher education institutions. But when I say that, we are distinct from the higher education institution, through what attributes are we different from the higher educational institution? For that's where this quality assurance come in. I'm carrying out an activity. That activity, I ensure that has been done meaningfully, and I've got good returns or outcome of that. That means a process has been established. For example, you are conducting this webinar, national webinar. Okay, so right from your planning of this national webinar, how should you go about, whom should you target, who are your target audience, clear, the execution as it's happening, and then what is the outcome of this. All of these, if it's kind of done in a methodical way, documented, and then you see this is what we intended to, and these are the outcomes, and whatever the outcomes that comes, again working on that becomes a sort of a process in place. Now, with what finesse that have you carried out all of these is what we talk about the quality. The quality should become the defining element of any activity that we conduct. Even as a teacher, I go to a class, even 40 minutes that I spend with my students, meaningfully, I should be spending those 40 minutes or 1 hour. Then there is quality. When I say meaningfully, today I'm going to a class, I'll be taking or dealing a topic with the students. If I have given required material to those students well in advance, so that the students have gone through those, whatever the material, and then I start, discussing the topic which I intend to do. And towards the end of that 40 minutes, when I look at the outcome, the students have really understood the concepts that I have given the material earlier. I've discussed sufficient amount, and there is some outcome. So then I would say that that is a way of class to be conducted. Then there is sort of a quality that is there. If the same way you continue the entire course that has been taught, you don't really have to bother about the examination that you have to face, the assessment that you have to face, because you have got so really well tuned in that particular thing. That means there is quality in it. So I just gave an example. So like that, any activity that we do under the umbrella of higher education institution, there has to be quality in it. So hence, there has to be set standard procedures, policies, which has to be clearly, dictated or articulated, so that people follow that and also continue with the same thing. Okay, so hence quality assurance becomes priority here. Okay, so let's try and understand what exactly is quality assurance. As I was telling you, quality assurance, it's a systematic process of determining whether a process or practice or functioning of cells, committees, bodies meets specified objectives. Clear? Now, this program has been organized by IQAC with so many other collaboration. There is objective of IQAC. What is the objective? The process in which I'm carrying out this activity with the objectives in mind. If I attain that objective, that means there is quality in what we are doing. Clear? So any process or a practice or functioning, there are a lot of associations in the college. There are a lot of cells in the college. Okay, there are a lot of bodies in any of the higher education institution. Every association or a cell or a body have their own objectives. Be well aware of those objectives. See how are you going to attain those objectives. There is a methodology in which you'll have to carry that out and execute those. And then finally, you see what is the outcome of those. If you have attained that outcome, that means, one benchmark is set. The quality in which you want to attain those has been set. That's what exactly is quality assurance. What would be the advantage of quality assurance being in place? Now, it is going to increase stakeholders' confidence. Our higher education institution is known for offering programs, making students skilled, knowledgeable, so that they can become employers, so that they can become entrepreneurs. If this is what we are known for, there are a lot of stakeholders who would be interested in your higher education institution because that's what they need. I want an institution where my kid, my student, or my child would be given the right ambience for them to acquire the knowledge which they need, the skills that require, holistic development of a student that I see. That means there are going to be more students coming to those higher education institutions. That is what is required. And at the same time, because of this, the credibility of the institution also gets enhanced. Okay, so that is again the reason as to why there has to be a quality assurance system established in any of the higher educational institution. Clear? Now, what is the other positive of this quality assurance? It improves work process and efficiency. Okay, I'm working, but if I become a little alert as to how am I working, what is the outcome, the efficiency of my working get enhanced. That is something that we need to do it. Clear? And at the same time, because I'm doing well, I'm better placed in respect with that of the other higher education institutions. So I might be a good competitor to them, or I'm giving a good competition with others because there are a lot of system in place, practices in place, policies in place, and outcome is what we are getting on a regular basis. Okay, and at the same time, what we also look at is like, what is that as higher educational institutions should look into. We need to always try to look for the programs that are existing. Are these programs doing really well in terms of students coming to those programs, in terms of students getting placed after the program? Here, if there are no jobs available for that program, that means there is something that you have to seriously look into that program that we are offering. Clear? That means might be the required skills are not being met. Either the program has not been intended to whatever the outcome, or there is some lack in it, because any program that you design, right from the designing, development, implementation, a lot of procedures have to be in place. Ensure those procedures are there in place, everything is in place, but somehow again the students are not getting the due credit what they are supposed to be. That means there is some problem, there is no demand for such programs. So every now and then we'll have to keep checking, is there a demand for that program? And then try to bring in a lot of innovation in the program that you're offering. So that is something that, again, because once you provide innovative programs that meets the needs and the expectation of the stakeholders. So when I say stakeholders, it's not only students are the stakeholders. Okay. Now, for institution to function, there's a lot of financial burden that comes in. Clear? So might we say that some amount is coming through the admissions. Will that money suffice to run a higher education institution? There has to be a lot of interest from the government in the institution, funding agencies, a lot of funding agencies, UGC, DBT, DST. Clear? Now, when are these funding agencies get interested in your education institution? Only when you know that you are trying to provide resources, okay, to the students so that they become skilled, knowledge and then they can contribute a lot to the society, because finally the outcome is we becoming knowledgeable and skill to contribute back to the society. If something is coming back in written after the investments from the UGC and all of that, is when they are going to be interested to fund your higher educational institution. So that is the reason again as to why there has to be this quality benchmark set. Assurance system has to be in place to ensure that the program that we are offering are offered the way it should be offered, because every program requires a set of ambience to be created. Okay, good infrastructure, good faculty, the pedagogy that's being taught, bring in a lot of the exposure to the students, to the outside world. Okay, so all of these comes into picture when we are designing a program. So that has to be kept in mind when we offer. Okay, and then the standards and the procedure, as I was talking about, anything that is there, we need to be very, very clear about what is the function of any cell or body of a higher education institution. Write down all that the cell has to do and ensure that it's being regularly monitored. That is another area that we need to look at. Okay, now when I'm offering a program under the umbrella of higher education institution, there are certain attributes that we would want to have it in a student. Clear? What are those attributes? We call those attributes also as the graduate attributes. That is, you as a graduating student, you should be having these attributes in you when you step out of the portals of the higher education institution, so that there are people out there ready to grab you for the set jobs that are there. Okay, as an employer, or you yourselves can become an entrepreneur where you can employ others for whatever the innovative ideas that might have thought during your students' journey. What are those attributes? First thing is the disciplinary knowledge. If I say that I'm offering a program in any of the field, okay, say computer science, that means 3 years down the line or 4 years down the line under NEP, a student should be really skilled, knowledgeable in the disciplinary subject that they have chosen. That means college has to ensure that it's being done really well. So there has to be a lot of benchmark set there. Second thing here is communication skill. So I might be good, knowledgeable, but at the same time, whatever knowledge that I have, I need to be communicating to others. My ideas, my achievements, all of that. How would we communicate? We can communicate written or verbally. That means a student should have good communication skill. I have a lot of ideas in my mind, but I'm not able to pen them down, because when I send my proposal, someone who reads the proposal should know what exactly you have it. That means my writing skill should be good. Clear? Today I'm standing before you. I want to pass on whatever information that I have with me. That means I should also be good in communicating with you, so that means my verbal communication skill also to be good. So these two are very important again. So we need to ensure down the line that these communication skills become part and parcel in any of the institution. Clear? The third attribute is critical thinking. Clear? I'm studying this. Why am I studying? What are the applications of what I'm studying? Clear? A problem came before me. I think about it and look for solving the problems. So that means there has to be ability in the students of critical thinking, problem solving. We just saw the rains in the last week, and what are the problems that we are facing. Now, what are the solutions for such things? Clear? Critically stay paused, look at things, and what as students belonging to different departments can offer to those sort of solutions. So that is something that you need to have the other attribute. Next is analytical reasoning. So reasoning ability again. Okay, if I'm doing this, why am I doing? If I do this way, I'm getting this. If I change the methodology, what can be the outcome? That is the reasoning that you'll have to do. The next is the research related skills. Now, teaching research cannot go separate. They should go hand in hand. Clear? So research should be part and parcel of your teaching. Now, I can't say that research is something only when I do something, if I publish as research. Now, even if I have to carry out a experiment, if I have got 5 different approaches towards it, I got the results. If I analyze each approach, what is the outcome is a research that I'm doing. So that research is going to bring in a lot of newness in the way that you are functioning. So there has to be research component included in our educational pedagogy as one of the very important. Subsequently, obviously, once you have done something, you have got the results, then you can decide whether is it worth publishing or not? Is it like you want to publish in a research journals, or is it very innovative that you have come up with that where it can be patented, or you can use that further for any other exploration? So that component has to be there again. Okay. And the next thing is cooperation or the teamwork. What we also need to learn is because I alone cannot do things. I might have some good knowledge, good skill, but the topic that I have in mind, I need support from others. Clear? That's where the multidisciplinarity come in. So I might be a student of biology, but the concept or idea that I have in me is I also need people from commerce background. I also need people from humanities background, social work and all. That's where I want to collaborate with a lot of others. Okay, when I can collaborate, that means I'll have to work in a team so that our ideas matches, there are no indifferences that crops in. So that means I need to also learn how do I work in a team. Yeah, it could be within the class, it could be outside the class, it could be anywhere for that matter. So you need to also learn about how do you cooperate with each other, how do you work in teams. Because once you get into industries and all, you can't say that I'm going to be alone and isolated and I can function the way. There you need to meet people, interact with them, and then learn how to collaborate. Okay, it doesn't end there. Okay, the next one here is reflective thinking. Okay, so always you have some data, you read it and see like what more can you offer to that data. Reflective, you need to reflect on things that are happening in and around. Okay, it can be anything for that matter. So one should have this attribute in them. The next is information and digital literacy. So we cannot say that we're going to stay away from the usage of the technology. Clear? Because any subject for that matter you look at, there is digital literacy required there. Clear? So you need to adapt the technology and see how well you can integrate the technology into your studies. Okay, now artificial intelligence or even the usage of the software, the IT related stuff, all that can be included in your any subject that you belong to. Clear? And then the next is self-directed learning and lifelong learner. I can't say that I've taken up 3-year program, 4-year program, my education ends there. Okay, one has to be a lifelong learner, because what you have learned are certain skills and knowledge which can become outdated within no time. Okay, so I might have learned something. I ventured into a company where I see that whatever I've studied, nothing is being of use there. No, it's not being practiced. That means I need to ready to unlearn what I have already learned and then relearn based on the requirement. Okay, so you need to always be ready to upgrade yourself. That is something that you need to be doing. The next thing here is multicultural competence. Clear? I might be belonging to a particular region, particular state, okay, with certain whatever ethnicity, background and all of that. But at the same time, I need to be ready to embrace people around me and then get into that sort of a culture. It's required. One need to understand the multicultural and give due credit for all others as well at the same time. Clear? And what more is important is the moral and the ethical awareness. Clear? What am I doing? Am I doing right things, wrong things? Because there is people to judge you there. But at the same time, let me be more ethical in doing things the right way, so that there's not much of issues that people face outside. Okay, so I need to have a clear conscience when I do anything. The ethics that we talk about, is it right or wrong? That essence of thinking in you is something very important again. Clear? And leadership readiness and qualities. Okay, I can't be sitting at one place and keep cribbing about the system, but rather take initiatives, show up the leadership qualities and own up that yes, we are in a problem. Let's try solving that problem. Every student should have that leadership qualities in you who are coming out of your portal, so that you can take initiative, get the team built. When I say leader, I'm a leader, not a boss. I can't dictate terms to others, but rather you initiate, get others involved in the process, identify what each one of them are the best, delegate that work in a more logical, meaningful way, and then let the work go. What is the thing? There is the outcome. This is the problem. Solution is what I'm looking, not to be a boss and dictate others what has to be done. So what is required here is to own up accountability and then move towards solving a particular issue or a problem. And at the same time, I need to also have international outlook. Okay, I'm not only looking to groom myself, what fits the best to the state that you belong to, say Karnataka, or look at what, if I can fit anywhere within the country, whether I can fit anywhere in the globe, because I need, these days it's very easy for us to connect with all others through a lot of these online meetings and all of that. And later you might get a chance to go and work in other countries. So you always need to have an outlook which is well accepted by others once you go there, where you don't face any sort of a lag when you move to another country and all of that. Okay, so that you need to have this international outlook. Now, what I just presented before you are the graduation outcomes, which we want to see in a student who graduates out of a higher education institution. To ensure that all of these are there in the higher educational system, what is very important is you need to have what we call it as the quality assurance system in place. Ensure that all of these attributes are being met in a student in the 3 years of your stay, 4 years of your stay on campus, or 2 years of a postgraduate program. How well are you going to include all of these in the functioning of your higher education institution matters a lot. What you should do is you need to relax, look at things, what has to be changed, clear, what system has to bring in. And the first thing that you're going to do is you design. First thing is look at a program, design the program. Most of the times what happens is if I say that I'm offering a program, our total attention is only towards the curriculum design of the program. I would say I have a best of the curriculum. Just having on paper the best of the curriculum is not going to suffice. What is more important for a program to become more relevant is how is this going to be delivered to the student. The planning is what goes in there. Okay, it's not only that planning, I have done it, is that enough? Again, it has to be taught by the resource persons to the teachers the way the student can assimilate. It becomes more of student centric there, so that they can relate to whatever is being taught. So that means a lot of innovation of the pedagogies comes. Today I'm teaching whatever through PowerPoint. Can I teach all the content that I've designed through PowerPoint? Certain content might be good with board and chalk. Certain content might be good with PowerPoint presentation. Some might be more of activity based. Okay, you need to identify what content, how it should be taught. So that is there. At the same time, what sort of engagements that you need to have with the students? It could be assignments. If it is assignment, just giving them a topic and asking them to write something and submit, is that an assignment? Assignment should also measure the level of a student. Clear? It could be, I give an assignment, I'm checking whether you have understood a concept and are you able to rewrite whatever the concept that you've understood. Check the levels. You might have heard of the Bloom's taxonomy: remembering, understanding, okay, then analyzing, creating. 6 levels are there, okay, right? From remembering, understanding, then applying, then you have analysis, evaluation, and then there is creation. So if I'm giving an assignment, what level am I checking? Am I just, if I ask them to give a term and let them get the information, they might just copy paste it. What level of knowledge have they acquired there? Okay, but rather give them some material. Let them read some 5 articles, come up with some sort of commonality in those things. That means they have read, understood, and then they have analyzed, and then they've come. There's a lot of a difference there. Clear? So it all depends on how well are we trying to make use of the facilities there. So do I want students to be there at the right at the level 1 and level 2, or do I want to take them to the level 6, which is more of creation? We want students these days to be knowledge creators, not knowledge assimilators. Good amount of knowledge is there in the textbook, in the research articles, Google, a lot of information. But are you contributing to the knowledge? How are you going to contribute to the knowledge? Is through your research, publications, and all of that. When will that come? Is when you critically think and say that I have a problem before me, let address that problem. There is some solution that has come, let me publish that. That means you are creating knowledge there. Clear? So what should be the outlook in a program is we need to create students who are going to be knowledgeable. So that means there has to be a lot of system that you need to bring in place. So what are the way that you can do it? You design the program. Don't just design the curriculum. You design right from the start. In the outcome-based education, we talk about that. As a teacher, I need to have clarity as to what the program is all about. As a student, they should have clarity as this curriculum I have chosen, because by the end of the curriculum, I'm able to do this. I might have these skills in me, I might have this knowledge, so I'm able to do it. So that clarity students should have in them, that clarity a teacher should have in them, and then there is a meaning in whatever the education that we are offering there. Okay, so you design down right from the curriculum that you have, how would you deliver it, what ways are you going to assess them, and what would be the outcome. By the end, semesters you might be checking, giving a lot of assessments, exam, but towards the end also check holistic as to what are the changes that you have seen in a student who came in the first year and the one who is going outside. That is something, a lot of work, but that's the meaningful way of having a system in place. Okay, so you design, then as I said, you develop and implement it. So design, you have something in place, now you see how are you going to implement it. Okay, get procedures in place of implementation, development, clear. And as you develop it, okay, don't stay there, and you always get into a quality circle where you test, assess. I have brought in a process in place, I have brought in a procedure in place. Are they giving me the returns which I have thought of? Okay, the objectives that I have thought of. So if that is not being met, that means I'll have to really work on it. So you test, you assess, and then if there are issues in whatever you have thought of, identify those problems, and then start working on this problem and see that the performance is gone. Okay, so there has to be an objective as to what you want from a process and what are the outcomes of that. And then if you attain that, then going to be excellent. So when you say best practice or anything for that matter, a title of what exactly is the best practice, what is the context of that best practice, what is the process that is in place of a best practice, what results have you got it, what problems have you encountered, and how have you handled those problems. So if I get one clear picture of all of these, what I just said, that means a practice is in place. And if that practice is giving commendable value to any of the higher education institution, is when I would say it's a best practice. Clear? So there are a lot of practices. Any practice is a practice. Okay, even if the way I teach is a practice, when would that practice become best practice is when you start getting some good outcome which becomes commendable, clear, where others also want to adopt to the practice that you're following. Then I would say that is a best practice. Otherwise, a lot of practices are in place. So now you need to identify the practices that you have. How are you going to make that practice as a best practice? Yeah. Okay. Now, come up with strategies. What is very important is you need to design. Every now and then you'll have to keep thinking, as I said, reflect thinking. So you have something in place. Is it good? Is it going the way it should? What are the outcomes that you are getting? If not, then you stay back again, means pause there, study everything, and then go to the thing. So you evolve mechanisms and procedures. What is something that you ensure that any process that you design, it's timely, it is efficient, progressive. For higher education institutions, we are looking for in any higher education institution, you have academic component, you have administrative component, and there are financial tasks. To carry out a program, financial burden comes in. How much money is required for a program to carry out? That's the financial thing. Because if I say, I started a program in IT related, clear? That means the ambience that is required is I need a good classroom, okay, with a lot of PowerPoint facilities and all of that, good software, good systems, good laptops. That means the infrastructure is in place. The next thing that is required would be the faculty, the right faculty skilled to teach that particular program. Yeah. So if that is there, that means your financial burden is taken care of. Then academic part, which I said, your design of the curriculum, the pedagogy in which you are teaching, that is taken care of. The assessment, the examination, all of that. Then administrative, right from the management to the head of the department to the mentor, everyone is playing an administrative role. Everyone has been given a task for them to do it. Okay. As management, they might have to look overall at the college. As a principal, again, the work has been delegated to the principal. Then you have deans looking at schools or institutes, or head of the departments looking at that. So everyone is playing an active role in functioning of the higher education institution. So that means everyone should have a process in place to ensure that the quality is being maintained and it's being assured at every time point. Okay, so that is something that you have to do. Then relevant and quality academic or research programs. So keep checking of the program that you're offering. Are they relevant to the current times? Clear? The research activities that the students are doing, are they relevant to the current times? That is something that we need to keep checking very often. Clear? And the education that we're offering, equitable access and affordability. Clear? So a program that I'm doing, again, the financial burden, not everyone can afford a particular program. They might have their own financial concern. But in a higher educational setup, we need to ensure that there is equity. Even others should come and join the program. If they have financial constraint, how as an institution can support that? Clear? Might be through a scholarship, might be through a waiving of the fee ship, but you need to get all of them on the board. How are you going to do that? Okay, that is something that they look for. Optimization and integration of modern methods of teaching and learning. So as I said, as a teacher, 22 years, as I said, I've been teaching. The best teaching, even which I like the most, is the board and chalk. Okay, so here, by chance, you'd have given me a chalk and the board, I would have gone and written whatever I'm explaining it there, because that's one of the very effective ways of teaching for the student who wants to learn the concepts right at the beginning. It's the board and chalk. From then you can move on, you can use any of the technology for that matter, which can support, okay, even making them present. I think it's very common these days, like, you do a presentation, but how innovative are you in your presentation matters a lot. Clear? So one has to be more innovative in the way they teach. Okay, that is something that has to be there. Then credibility of assessment and evaluation process. Now, if I'm teaching them in a particular manner, I should also assess them in the same way. Clear? I'm teaching them in a simpler manner, and assessing them at a complex level is not well taken by the system. Clear? So if I've taught them in a conceptual manner, I'm only looking at assessing the concepts there. If I've taught them a little more of an application based and all of that, then I can assess them. Okay, so the way you're assessing the students matters a lot. Clear? So the question papers that you're framing, there has to be some question asked for them to write an answer. So it's a practice. I've seen many of the question papers sometimes. Okay, answer the following would be the main, and the first one would be just one word. Clear? Now, one word, for example, say education. The main is answer the following, and the first question is education. Where is the question there? What should I write about the education? If the question is write the impact of education, there's a question there. If I just say answer the following, if I just say question number 1 is education, what am I expected of a student to write on that? Clear? Should they write something good about education? Should they write something bad about education? Because the question is vague. So the way you ask questions in a question paper also should be very specific so that the student read that and then sort of an answer. So there's a lot of work that to be done in the assessment process, the evaluation process, very important. Clear? But you're really checking their ability to carry out certain tasks. Okay. Then ensuring the adequacy, maintenance, and proper allocation of support structure and services, because a lot of support is required for any student for that matter. There are students who are slow learners, who are very fast in grasping things. Clear? Identify them and accordingly extend the support. It's not like if I'm a slow learner, I'm going to be railing far. Okay, I might do it, but my grasping power is a little low, but I might do it, but given a little more time. So you need to identify all of those and accordingly, try to monitor the same thing and give them all the required support that is required, right from the counseling to that of the additional skills that they want. Mentoring has to be in place again. Okay, now sharing of research findings and networking with other institutions, it's very important these days. Collaboration is something that anyone needs to be with. Clear? I'm good at certain things, but I want something more, but I don't have those facilities. Is there a good way to collaborate with other higher education institutions? They have something, we have something, let's together, I do some, and then the other person does it. Even as a faculty, I belong to microbiology department. So research topic these days can't confine only to a particular subject. Okay, so I might come up with something where chemistry students or chemistry faculty are good in synthesizing certain molecules, which I want to test it on microorganisms and all of that. And then later the data that comes, I need to interpret it, statistical analysis and all has to be done. So I can have a collaborative work where a chemistry person is involved, a mathematician or a statistician is involved, plus a biologist involved. That is what the in thing again in the new education policy, we are looking at multidisciplinarity there. Clear? So that means I need to have a good team of people with like-minded thinking, innovative, at the same time contribute, give the credit to all of them. Okay, there again, the fight should not be like, who's going to be the first author, second author. Now, if all of them have contributed well for the thing, all of them should be equally, given the credit for the same thing. But that is something that the way that you need to look at. Clear? So collaboration is a thing again that you'll have to do it. Okay. So some of the best practices in quality assurance is what I just want to share here, which I've been talking about it. So something, as I said just now, collaboration and communication. Communication is the key role here. So one needs to be very clear in passing on whatever is happening in a higher education institution to the students, to all the stakeholders. Your website is going to be one good way of showing what all is happening on the institution, what you are intended to do further, clear, and all that can be well represented in the website. Okay, so when I say communication for several things, it could be for a program, it could be for other things as well. Clear? So what is very important as a best practice you have to set in is collaboration and communication. Okay, and the next thing that understanding and working closely with all stakeholders of the higher education institution. So as I said some time back, when you say stakeholders, who are the stakeholders? Students, parents of those students, teachers, the management, all those who have vested in the employers who will recruit our students. Clear? The funding agencies, all of these are stakeholders. So as a higher education institution, you need to be well knit with all of them. Okay, have parent council on the board so that you can interact with the parents, look at what are their expectations that they have from the college. Okay, employers, get companies on the campus and look at, we are offering this program, this is how it's being taught, this is are the skills that our students are, the skills is what you're looking for, or should we do something in the curriculum or the way it is there. So there has to be a good collaboration, communication with these people, get them on the board for you to flourish really well. Okay, the next thing is regular upgradation of the team. Okay, there are tasks delegated to a particular team. See how well are the team executing that particular task. Okay, it could be a department, it could be a cell, it could be an association. And in case things are not happening the way, that means there is a review process required, and change the team as and when required if people are getting a little bored of carrying out the same sort of work. Okay, and then peer review, something, we always need to subject ourselves to a little sort of assessment and get always newer ideas and all. I'm doing this way, am I on the right track? Okay, get critiqued by people if you are doing good or bad. Okay, accept it if it is something that's coming your way, and then work on the same thing. So subject yourselves to peer review. Okay, and then feedback mechanism has to be in place. Anything that I do, always by the end of completion, take a feedback to see what went well, what didn't go well. If something has not been well, what is the reason behind it, and then try to work on the same thing. So that has to be there again. So frequent and transparent communication. So there has to be a lot of transparency in the system. Otherwise, when people don't know what's happening, they might not be able to contribute to what you want them to do. Clear? You can't be vague in getting the work done. You need to be very clear. This is what we are looking for. Okay, this is the vision of the institution. These are the mission statement of the institution. We want to achieve this. So let that vision, mission be percolated in every stakeholder of the institution, so that there is clarity that this is what we are working and this is the vision of the institution. If everyone start working towards the vision, you can achieve what you are intended to. So there has to be a lot of transparency in the system. Then continuous quality circle. So I did best today. I cannot stop there. It's a continuous affair. Okay. I worked very hard. I got a good NAC score for today. Tomorrow I can't relax because the cycle has to repeat again. Today we are in the cycle 1, then we'll have to go to cycle 2. For you to be the best there or improve better, that means you'll have to be in the continuous quality circle. Keep reviewing every now and then, assess yourselves, and then keep moving. Clear? And how do you do that? To assess, let there be audit system in place. Internal audit, where you yourselves can audit yourself. Okay, then can also be external audit. You are done with internal audit. You have got some data at one place. You want to subject that to an external audit. Let's listen from the expert from the others as well. Get them on the board and see, what are the ways in which they want you to function further, or some inputs that you can get in. So that is something that has to be done. Okay, so these are certain things that I wanted to share with you all about the quality assurance in place. Clear? So I'll just move to the next bit of my lecture, that's about the documentation, effective documentation. Because as I said sometime back that, I take part in NIRF ranking, they look for certain data. I take part in NAC process, they are looking for certain data. Clear? Now, most of the data has become the annual academic calendar data. Okay, even NAC AQAR, when you submit, if you look at the AQAR, that is annual quality assurance report, it's become like a annual SSR itself. Okay, so you can't say that my SSR is towards the end of another 2-3 years, let me work there. No, what you submit now becomes a part of your SSR. So that means every year you get a good chance for you to review the process. Even if you take this as a AQAR seriously, criteria wise what is good, what is bad, immediately you can implement what should get better. So that means the AQAR also to be taken seriously and then work. Okay, so in the documentation, I'll take you through as to what are the data sets that normally any of the ranking body is looking for, whether it is NAC or whether it is NIRF or any of the others. Okay, first thing is the admission data. Okay, so I know that the colleges will have so many programs. This is the approved intake. Okay, against that approved intake, how many applications have received, how many students have joined for the program. So good data of that has to be in place. Okay, so the admission data is very crucial. So there has to be good documents for those, which might be if you have an admission committee or a cell and all of that, ensure that they try to maintain all of these on a regular basis. Then you have student profile. Student profile can start from the student coming into the institution, from which all states they came in, which colleges they came in, with what grades they have come in. Clear? From then you can start working on the students till they graduate and then move towards higher education or the placement. So you need to keep a tab of the entire student's profile. Okay, how you do it? You can have ERPs, okay, dedicated for this so that it can be monitored. Okay, the next set of data is students assessment and examination. So it's a lot of assessments you conduct, okay, and then it has to be there. You also need to check for a progress of the students that they have made from the semester 1 that they have joined to that of the 6th semester. What are the data? Student progression, as I said, student progression is I completed a program in this institution. What am I doing after this? Okay, have I become an entrepreneur? Have I gone for a job, or have I gone for higher education? Okay, so that data is what is required. And next is the faculty profile. Clear? So faculty, yes, my name, my designation, okay, what are my area of specialization, when did I join this institution, for how long I have been working, what are the positions that I have held so far, if I was working in the previous institution for how long, the entire profile of the faculty, their publications, if it was in the name of this college, or if they have prior publications in the name of the other college, the entire faculty data has to be there again in place. Then scholarship data, students have joined in, there is scholarship in place. Okay, that data is also very crucial for the ranking and all of that. If there is, they normally look for how many students got free ship. And when you say free ship, the tuition fee has to be waived off. So only then you can say that you have given full, what do you say, the fee concession. Okay, then there could be also scholarship, management scholarship, or you can get also a lot of other bodies, NGOs and all to sponsor your students. So that's something that can be done. Then department data. Now department data, it's like as a department you're functioning. If you're in affiliated colleges, then you have to go by whatever the syllabus that has been prescribed by the parent university. But you're in autonomous college, you might be having a board of studies. Okay, how did you structure your syllabus, what all new things that you've brought in, the minutes of meeting. As a department, you might have been organizing a lot of events, clear, seminars, workshops, all of that. So there's a lot of data of the department also is required, even the assessment. So all that data also has to be at one place. Clear? So I carried out an activity right from the start to the finish. The entire thing has to be there. It has to be very concise. It can be a report. I conducted this seminar. the title of the seminar, you have a brochure that becomes how many of us attended an attendance sheet for it. Okay, so some documentary evidences, some pictures, and then finally a report that suffices a need for this particular activity. So like that, every event that is being conducted, whoever is in charge, if they try completing this process and document it at one place, it becomes more easy for you to claim that you have done something. Clear? So because the NAC and all are looking at the documentary evidences. If I say that I attended a program, what is the proof of that? Clear? So I can't simply say things which I have not done it. Even if you have done it, you write it, but you have not, don't have any documentary evidence, they might question you for the same thing. Okay, so that is something. Then you have a lot of associations, cells, clubs, outreach activities that you do on the campus. Everything has to be documented. Then policies and processes for various functioning of the cells, bodies, and all of that. So those has to be in place. Then feedback mechanism, feedback of everything, the feedback from the students, feedback from the teachers, feedback on the curriculum that the students are part of, feedback on from the employers, feedback from the parents, a lot of feedback mechanisms. Clear? So what I've just shared in these two slides, if you look at it, it suffices most of the data which is required for NAC, for NIRF, and all of that. Clear? So what has to be a practice from your or any of the higher education institution is, these are the data sets that are required for you to take part in any of the ranking or the process and all. How efficiently are you going to document? Because when we talk about this assurance system and the documentation, everyone might have their own way of working on. Okay, what is the best that suits your institution is something that you need to look for, and then you need to keep things in place. Okay, so how can one do the same thing? Okay, what is very important now? I want data from any of these. Okay, whatever I said, admission data and all of that. Okay, I want admission data. For example, I have created a format. Okay, you don't have to run around for the formats if NAC is something that you're looking for. NAC is very well given the required formats in which they want the data. NRF, you're taking part, they also have given a very clear format in what they want the data. So look at all of these regulatory bodies requirement, clear, make formats. Okay, if I want admission data, how do I need it? I send this format to the admission cell, clear, tell them by the end of the admissions, after the entire process is over, give the data to us in this particular format. Clear? Then, so create the formats. You be aware of what the formats are. If you have a good ERP on with the college, you can also make it available, the formats in the ERP system, where the admission team can just go there and feed in the data. Whoever is in charge of the IQAC and others, they can download the data where you don't have to write a mail or call them and all, but you need to have process in place that they are doing the job that they are supposed to be doing without any sort of an issue. Okay, so you create formats, make the formats available towards the data submission. I gave example for the admission. So like that, there are formats available for everything, right? From the curriculum design, the delivery, the assessments, research publications, fundings, student progression. For everything, there are formats already available in the NAC. Look at those formats, see what more you want to add when you have to give the data to others. So those formats make available to the departments, to the cells, to the associations, and all of that. A lot of work again, yes, but you need to do it because you want the data. You want to represent all that's happening in the higher education institutions under varied criteria. So make the formats available towards the data submission. Give them a deadline. Clear? So I need to submit the data of 21-22. Now that means give them deadlines so that you have the data for you to receive it from them, analyze the data if it's really good, see if all the documentary evidences are there, and then you can subject to whatever the audit or the ranking and all of that. So that is something that you'll have to do. The timeline, the data submissions. Clear? Now, data submission can also be done on ERPs, as I was suggesting. Okay, the job becomes much more easier. Okay, whatever the NAC formats, a lot of new companies have come up with ERPs where they are fine-tuning with the formats so that the respective coordinator or the committee head will upload the data there. So you can go criteria wise, you can also download the data. It's available. Okay, so you can think of those. A lot of talk you need to have it with those people where your ERP can be tailor-made based on your requirement. That can be a good suggestion that I thought of giving. Then data validation approval. Now there has to be a committee again who would look at the data, okay, and then validate the data, approve the data, use that for your future rankings and all of that. Okay. And once the data comes to you, you are in a better position, whoever is monitoring that, to sort out the data based on the requirement and give what is sort of required. So there has to be a good documentation team in place. Okay. Someone who knows what are the formats, what should you be giving, and how do you collect the data, how do you sort out the data. Clear? So what one needs to be is, you need to be very clear and concise. Okay. Try to minimize the data. Okay. Let's not have too many things on the institution. Today I'm asking AQR data for one department. Tomorrow I'm asking for publications. I already have asked publications. Then again, some other team is going and asking them publication. The third team is also asking them publication. The departments go wild when multiple people are asking the same data sets and all of that. So you identify what is the data that has to come from the department. Let it all be monitored by a single set, so that it all comes to one point, and from there it can be disseminated. That becomes good practice again. Okay, so keep it clear, concise, focus on being specific, what you really want. Okay, when you ask something, be very clear about the questionnaire. Okay, otherwise they might understand the way they would want. The other best practice is, once I make a format, I'm asking, have a small presentation. This is the format, this is the data that you're looking, plus minuses, all that you can add there, and that can be done. Then once you get the data, documents and all, the data should be accessible, so that anyone, by click of a button, you should know where the data is stored. Then make it easy to edit. Okay, let there be an edit option. Sometimes you want to add columns, sometimes you want to merge columns, delete columns, you know, all that. It should be flexible for you to do it. Okay, so I've made a format. Today NAC has revised the format. I need to add something more, so have space to add those or to delete if required. Clear? Controlled document changes. Again, you know, you need to keep checking for what changes in the documents that come. If you look at, like, you know, students have gone for internship. What document they want is the certificate that the student have completed the internship. So you need a list of certificates from all the students who have done internship. Students have done research at some place. So you need the documentary evidence of all that. How you get it is a question. So if you follow these, what I'm suggesting, it might be of some help to you. So review our manuals at least once in a year. So whatever the formats that you're giving, before sending it to them or uploading on the website, review it. And next time again, you want it, if any changes, edit those formats there and update them that this has been edited, and try to work on the same thing. Clear? Timeline, as I said, you need to give it. Choose a specific, well-defined process. So ensure there is a process in place, and then you follow up the process. Clear? So create and use templates, which I've already told you, the data formats have to be done. Clear? So for anything and everything, what is very important, there has to be certain benchmarks that you need to set. Okay, that's the last bit of my talk. The benchmarking is very, very important. Now, benchmarking is something I'm subjecting myself into comparison. That is, there are institutions there which you might look them as they are performing really well. If they are performing well, what are their strategies in which they are performing, so that we can learn from them and we also become a part of it. So they become the benchmark for us. Okay, I am with the NAC, whatever score, I see a college getting that particular score. How did they manage to get that? That means there might be some system in place, there might be some process in place because of which they are there. Clear? They are getting good research publications, they're getting good funding. How are they getting that good funding? How are they getting that good research publication? What is there? So I want to study that. That becomes sort of a benchmark. So benchmark, it's a process again for measuring and comparing the work process of one organization with that of the other. Clear? Try to bring an external focus. That they are performing well. Why can't we perform the way that they are doing? So that should become sort of a benchmark for you. Okay, so it's just a method of teaching an institution how to improve. I know we are never complete. Okay, today I'm here, but I want to move a little ahead from wherever. How can I move it? Is I'll have to get into the process of this benchmarking. Clear? So what should I do there is I should try to we should integrate a lot of operations, which I said sometime back, the processes, the practices and all of that. So you try to make that part and parcel of your organization. Clear? The next thing is it should be an ongoing process. It's not like I started today and I slept over it and then nothing happened after that. Okay, so it should be an ongoing process. Every time you analyze the data, what you have collected, keep reviewing it, and then keep coming with a lot of strategies, implement them, sustain if they are very good. Very important. You have come up with something. Sustenance is something if they're good, and then upgrade if they are not doing so well. So sustenance, upgradation is something should become the key element again. Okay, so any higher educational institution should have a vision. We might have every college or institution have a vision, but are we really going back and checking every now and then what is our vision, what are our mission statements? Are we working in align with that is something that you have to do. Okay, what is very important to make all of us work towards that vision is there has to be a drive, motivation. Clear? So every now and then the management, the higher heads of the various institutions should keep motivating the others, because one person cannot do everything. Each and every faculty, teaching, non-teaching, student, the stakeholder should contribute towards the well-being of the institution. So you need to ensure that there is good amount of drive, motivation drive. Clear? So try to appoint right staff who has the credibility for that particular program, not by seniority, not by thing. I have caliber, I'm good. I might not be good at everything. I might be good at one thing, not be good. Identify who's good at what. Clear? Make them those respective coordinators, respective heads, and respective leadership and all of that. Okay. And then try to train them. I know little, but I need to know more. Okay. So have effective orientation programs for them. Communicate what you would want. That is something that can be done. So train your people, because they might have the ability to grasp things and work. They just need the right platform, right opportunity. So give them the right thing. Okay. So resources, provide all that is required. You can't just give them the work and expect them to do it, not giving the support required. It could be anything, financial or various other things that you can do it. Clear? And be very clear of having structures in place, strategies in place, plan, and then create priorities. You need to know what should be your first priority, second, third, work on that same. Okay. At the same time, give credit to whatever they achieve. Incentivization. When I say incentivization, not necessarily it has to be in terms of money. It can be any ways that you would want to give incentives to them, to say that you were a part of this process. You have done a great job. Accept their, felicitate them for the work that they have done. That bring in a lot of, togetherness, and they would contribute much more when you acknowledge the work that they have done it. Clear? So that holds good. Okay. And thank you all for your patient hearing. So finally, I would just like to conclude telling that yes, quality you want to bring in, each one should work towards the same. So you can't stay there and say that there's no quality in the system. We need to become part and parcel to get the quality in place. Okay. So I would want to end with the quote by Dr. Abdul Kalam: excellence is a continuous process and not an accident. Okay. So it doesn't just come the way. Okay. You need to work for it. And I'm happy to take any questions if you have. Okay. After this, should that be recorded? I think that you can close the session, then you can talk to us. Yeah. Any questions on this? I see a lot of students here, so any questions other than this also you could ask. Online, if there are any questions, I'm happy to take them. The idea of the talk is it should have been of some use to you, that you have spent so much of your time listening to me. Yeah. No questions? I normally tell students 2 times that they don't have questions. One thing, nothing has gone in, whatever I've explained. Second thing is, it was so clear that I don't have any questions. I don't know which category it belongs to. Okay.
In this pedagogical method of teaching, like, for example, for you,
Yes.
you take enough time to do it along with other works, and students, we have around 50 classes.
Yeah.
Apart from, like, they have to attend the value programs, seminars, webinars, and we need to
make time.
everything, and how
Sure.
they are able to do it.
Okay, no, that's a challenge for most of the teachers, the time thing. Okay, so as we say, like,
Apart from that, you have to tell this program, this other
activities and all of that. Yes. So there are present. Yes, I'm a teacher. I teach. Then I do all this accuracy related work. I also guide students for the term paper and all. It's a challenge again. So it's not that easy to do it. What is important is again to sort of learn a little time management strategies. Okay, that is something that you need to look at it, and also try to get in things which is really required. Okay, sometimes we do 10 things, 8 of them might not be important. Okay, 2 of them are very important. So look at what is really important that you need to be doing, and then work on that. You do little, but that little should really be the best. Okay, sometimes, yes, associations are there. If I'm part of an association as a president or as a coordinator, I need to coordinate certain events. So let me be very meaningful in conducting those events. How many events should I conduct? Is it 10? Is there an upper limit? There's no upper limit. But let me conduct something very, in a better, effective manner where everyone is a part and something learning has happened out of that particular activity. So that is one way that you can do it. And at the same time, yes, if you know the time requirement is so much that I need to contribute towards my teaching, my research, my publication, and also the other administrative work, the management might also look at it and then ease out a little or decongest a little so that more resources can come in and then do it. And strategies that you can do for the teaching and all of that is where if I know, like say you have postgraduate students, you have undergraduate students, okay, certain concepts of undergraduate teaching can also be done by the postgraduate students. But now postgraduate students can do it not just for the sake, but they also, it can be a part and parcel of their assessment, one of their assessment. So what presentation you want to give it for them, they can present this to the juniors, okay, where they can present this so that they learn from you. This postgraduate students, their teaching ability also improves. They learn a lot. It's all sort of a give and take. Okay, so when I'm teaching to the undergrad students, the question that comes my way make me think a little beyond. So I go and read back again. So things are there. So what you need to do is sit and creatively think about those, plan it accordingly. So it's possible.
Even while research projects also,
Correct.
small projects, minor projects.
Yeah.
You can make one of the postgraduate as a mini mentor.
Correct. True.
So that they will learn and then we supervise. All the time you cannot be there.
Not necessary, not necessary. One good practice that we have here is undergraduate level and stuff. We have term paper mandatory for the students. So right in the first year of their undergraduate, the students will come up with some research proposal. They interact with any of the teacher they want to work with. So they go talk to them about it and then they start working on that. It can be a review-based research work. It can be a practical-oriented research work. So where they become so much, and as a teacher, I'm just contributing my, ideas, my guidance and all, supervise that. And so that, they can also do it. If something good comes out, you can think of publication, where a student is getting a publication with the teacher. So that's something that also can be thought of.
For the research and all, whether you're looking at the patents or something like that, or the ideas what the students are bringing, based on that.
So idea can be from anyone. It can be from the student. It can be from the teacher. Depends is how unique is the idea.
Dynamic.
It's dynamic. Finally, here we are looking at students becoming the future, because as teacher, it's not we are looking for our self-growth. Our self-growth happens automatically if the students perform well and they go and perform well. But as teachers, what we need to be doing is we should be driving force to get the potentials out of the student. So you tell them that I'm there, you can come up with the idea that you have, discuss with me, and they might come up with something, but you need to augment a lot on it. They might have thought in one direction. So you might then say, why don't you read this? Why don't you guide them through? Then the process becomes a little, then you can collaborate with the student and carry out the work, where both of them are benefited, because you're guiding them, something is coming out as a publication, joint publication, a student and a teacher can publish. That also is, yeah.
Thank you.
See,
Yes.
one small last thing, when you are talking about NAC,
Huh.
it is everybody should know that what is each one's responsibility.
Sure.
All are stakeholders,
Correct.
starting from an attender to the top management.
Sure.
Everyone is a stakeholder, including the students.
Sure.
When it comes to NAC per se,
Hmm.
whatever everybody thinks that
Hmm.
it is IQC coordinator or director will be doing something and teachers will be sitting and doing all the work and the document.
Correct.
Equally, I want you to insist upon students to take part in all the activities because it is quality improvement as a whole,
Hmm.
as an institution,
Sure.
not as an individual,
Sure.
not as a teacher, not
Okay.
as a manager.
Sure.
Just 2 or 3 lines
Sure.
because we need to discuss.
Sure. So has a question. I think I'll.
Yeah.
My name
Yes.
is Anil Patil.
Yeah.
I'm basically from quality assurance background.
So that's
I
great.
was with TUE and Bureau Veritas as training head for the end.
Mhm.
In fact, this new education,
Policy, yeah.
education policy 2020 states that now the curriculum or the burden on students will be light and tight.
Correct.
That means we should move towards lean documentation.
Hmm.
So now this accreditation bodies require a lot of documentation, tons of documentation,
Correct.
where in small organizations like government colleges or
Hmm.
less disadvantageous colleges
Hmm.
cannot meet this documentation requirement and hence they fail in meeting the outcomes.
Okay.
So they do very good documentation and they get grade,
Hmm.
but eventually they fail in meeting the outcomes.
Hmm.
Do you have any suggestion
Hmm.
for the assessment bodies or the lawmakers,
Okay.
how to make this documentation lean
Okay.
and tight?
Okay. So.
One small request.
Sure.
We can have a discussion either in the boardroom or after this,
Hmm.
because I want these people to go ahead.
Should I answer that question and then?
Yeah, we will discuss it.
Yeah.
We will discuss it. We will discuss it
Sure.
after, right? Rajni, can.
I will just give.
No,
Yeah.
that's for the benefit of people.
Students.
Not the-
No, they have.
We shall take a short tea break. I request the students to stay back. The tea will be served.
No, students can go on. Students can.
Students may leave.
Feedback session.
Feedback to get-